Yeah, no problem. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, we have this, we're in the middle of a long sugya with the same question. Let's reiterate, let's go over it and recap and segue in. We're in the sugya of, he doesn't hear. That's not going to do it. He doesn't hear. He goes, anyway. So we're in the sugya of, in the sugya. We began the Masechta by saying there are 15 erva that if they fall with their sorrow, with their rival wife, in front of a dead brother's brother, right, a brother-in-law, and they happen to be an erva, that would pater the tzara. That would let the tzara off the hook. The Gemara asked, "How do you know that?" The Gemara answered from, we know from Eishes Ach. We know from what? From a brother's wife. We know from what? From Eishes Ach. From Achas Isha. We know from a man, two sisters, that a man can't marry his sister. He can't marry his wife's sister. What does it say regarding his wife's sister? It says, like sikach, right? Allah b'chayeha. You don't take her. Allah b'chayeha. And it says, Yevamot yava aleha. So it says, Allah by Yevamot, b'maka mitzvah. The Allah creates that there's a mitzvah by the sister-in-law. And nonetheless, it says, le sikach, you shouldn't take. So that's the source for the 15 arayos, they pater at Sarah. It says litzra as well. Okay, now, the Gemara is all asking based upon the following, meaning without that pasuk, I would have said if an erva falls in front of a brother-in-law, right, you could marry her, you could do yibum, despite the fact that there's an issa arayos from the parshas Achremos, you would be able to marry your brother's wife without the pasuk of Allah. The Gemara wants to know what's that mechanism that would go ahead and permit it, that you need Allah to tell me it's not permitted. What's the mechanism? In other words, we spoke out clearly, without the Torah telling me something, I would say I wouldn't know it. So I would say simply that a person could be miyab minerva. So the Gemara wants to know what exactly is that. So we assume that we went, and we're still going with the assumption, it's the mechanism called asay dochalos asay. When you have a mitzvah asay, and the performance of the mitzvah asay, there's a los asay. The asay goes ahead and preempts the los asay. We suggested that's only by tzitzis and shatnez, which is what? A regular lav. But a lav that has chorus, like an erva, like achas isha, where would you think that it preempts that? So the Gemara, we've been going, we tried kibbud aim, we tried different things, and now, yesterday, we ended the following. We tried to figure it out from Shabbos, that you should be able to go ahead and carry out misas bezdin on Shabbos. In other words, there's a mitzvah asay to go ahead and kill the person who was chayiv misa, right? And mechalel mos yumas, afal pi it's Shabbos. Tamid leima le'sevaru eis b'chol mosh v'seichem. Good. So we say b'chol mosh v'seichem. You know. So what's the mechanism? The asay of killing the person would be doichad lo say of Shabbos. Shabbos is what is an isakaris. And so l'chayra, I have a source. If not, let's sevaru. So once I have a source that essay dochalos say karis, therefore I would need Allah to tell me no, and that everything would work out. We had a dialogue. Maybe by Shabbos is only according to Reb Yossi, to Reb Nassin, who says that it's lechalek, which means that it's a chi of karis. And the reason that le'sevaru eis b'chol mosh v'seichem is taken out of the rule of everything that's us about Shabbos is to tell me that you only have to be over one and not all 39. But load Reb Yossi, who says lelav yotza, that it's only a lav. Load him lechora, you don't have a source because I say dochalos. I say there's no karis there according to Reb Yossi. Says the 1 second. Le'sevaru, why is your assumption le'sevaru is what is speaking when you just lit the fire? Maybe it's speaking where you actually cooked it. Bishul, everyone would hold a zachi of karis. So right now we're holding, guys. We have a source. Right now at this point in time we have a source. Essay dochalos, essay by what? By Shabbos. Shabbos is a chi of karis. Therefore, I would say that the mitzvah of yibum is doicha the isra of alvat achas isha, and therefore I need Allah to tell me not. So right now, if we end the Gemara, everything would be great, of course. But now that you got all that, we're going to destroy it. Okay. Now that all that, so we're beginning on vav amid beis, mamish at the bottom. So guys, here's what we're going to say. that whole dialogue we had yesterday, that you should be able to go ahead and be mekayim the mitzvah asay of killing a person is not from essay dochalos essay. In other words, I have an other mechanism that would tell me you should be able to kill on Shabbos, and therefore I need le'sevaru to tell me you can't. What's that mechanism? Kal v'chomer. It's a kal v'chomer. In other words, yesterday's Gemara, the heta to kill, our assumption was it's asay dochalos asay, and therefore I have an analogy to yibum, which is also asay dochalos asay. And the answer is no, there's no analogy whatsoever. You know why? Because that limud from yesterday is dependent upon a kal v'chomer, which doesn't exist by yibum. It only exists by what? By chilul Shabbos. It only exists by Shabbos. And now let's introduce that kal v'chomer. So guys, one more time. I'm giving you the mechanics of the Gemara. Right now, at this point in time, we're saying we have a source for what? Essay dochalos assay by Karis, it's Shabbos, and the assay was what? Was the carrying out Mrs. Besnin. Good? And since the mechanism was assay dochalos assay, I can sushtel it, I can write to what? To Yibum. What happens if I tell you that's not the mechanism? By what? By Shabbos. Maybe it's an other thing. It's kal v'chomer. Then I don't have the tzushtel to what? To Yibum. Then I'm back to the original question. Why do I need the Oleh to go ahead and tell me what? That it's asa. Why do you think it's muta? That's good. Now let's meet that kal v'chomer. Let's meet the kal v'chomer. Says the Gemara. Ela mishum. So Amar Rav Simi Rashi, 3 lines to the bottom. Amar Rav Simi Rashi, 3 lines to the bottom of Amid Beis. Amar Rav Simi Rashi, Hai Tana loy mishum de esei dochalos asay. This Tana does not mean those sevaru to go ahead and override the assay of mitzvah of carrying out Mrs. Bezdin would override Chilul Shabbos. No, El Mishum Demaisim Mikal V'Chomer that it would override it. And now I don't have a tzushtel to Yibum. Right? V'hochi Kama. Ma ani Mekayim Mechalel Mos Yumas. How are we Mekayim Mechalel Mos Yumas, meaning carrying out Mrs. Bezdin? B'shar Malachos Chutz Mi Mrs. Bezdin. That would be by every other malacha, with the exception of Mrs. Bezdin. Aval Mrs. Bezdin, Dach Yeshabbos Mikal V'Chomer. Mrs. Bezdin would push off Shabbos Mikal V'Chomer. You're allowed to go ahead and do the avoid in the Beis Hamikdash and Shabbos. You can shecht the animals again. Tamid, it has to be a kavuas man, has to be a carbon sibor. But we've been introduced that it's doicha. So you see the avoda goes ahead and it's stronger than Shabbos. Uma avoida, the avoida of the karbonis. Shehi chamura v'doicha Shabbos. It's chamur that it's doicha Shabbos. Ritzicha doicha isa. Guys, if a kohen's the right seyach and he's doing the avoida, state shenemar me'im misbechi tikachen olamos. You go ahead, you schlep him off wherever in the middle of the avoida, you schlep him off. So ma'adach avoida, which is more chum, is doicha Shabbos. Ritzicha is more chumah because it's doicha what? Avoida, right? Shabbos shenichum from the avoida, Shabbos that's pushed off from the avoida, ain't a din shnei ritzicha doicha. Ain't a din that what? The killing of the person who's mechayiv misa should be doicha. So good. So in other words, that's the svara. Why? Not asay dochalos asay, not because the mitzvah asay of killing the person on Mrs. Bezdin is doicha Shabbos, because I have a kal v'chomer. If what's the kal v'chomer predicated upon? If avoid is mochamed and Shabbos, and Ritzich is mochamed and avoida, ain't a din that Ritzich is mochamed and Shabbos, an easy kal v'chomer. Now, fitting this into the dialogue of yesterday, in other words, what we're doing now is redoing the Gemara from yesterday, but not with the kivun of Esei Dochalos Esei, with the kivun of what? Of the Kal V'Chomer. We're fitting it in. So now, Uma Eino Oima de Kamar, what yesterday's Gemara? Or not, what does that mean? Hachi Kamar. Kvuras Meis Mitzvah Tochiach. I'll prove to you guys something that's Doicha Avoid, and it's not Doicha Shabbos. Kvuras Meis Mitzvah Tochiach. Burying a dead body, a Meis Mitzvah, to disprove you. Shedoicha Es Avoida. In other words, you have to, if you in conjunction Meis Mitzvah Avoida, we have a pasuk Lachoisai, tell me, the Meis Mitzvah comes first. Vein Doicha Es Shabbos. It's not Doicha Shabbos, so you Kal V'Chomer. It's not, guys, I have a Pirchan Kal V'Chomer. I have something that's Doicha the Avoida and not Doicha Shabbos. So too, Ritzicha, even though it's Doicha Avoida, maybe it's also not Doicha Shabbos. The Amar, and then the Gemara says, no. So let's learn out that Kfuras Meis Mitzvah Titcha Shabbos. that Kvuras Meis should be Doicha Shabbos, Mikal V'chayma, the same Kal V'chayma. Uma Avoida Shi Doicha Shabbos, Kvuras Meis Doicha Isa, Avoid of the Koyin, which is more severe than Shabbos. It pushes, you can do the Avoid on Shabbos. Nonetheless, Kvuras Meis precedes the Avoida. Mila Achaisai, Shabbos Shenit from the Avoida, Shabbos that gets pushed in the Avoida, ain't I didn't take Kvuras Meis Doicha Isa. So therefore, I would say clearly that what? That have a Kal V'chaymer, that you should Ritzicha. In other words, that Kal V'chaymer stays intact. Madoch the Avoida is stronger than Shabbos. Ritzicha is like the Avoida. So should like a Shabbos, you last from Kvuras Meis Mitzvah, the same Kal V'chaymer will be Mata Kvuras Meis Mitzvah. If Kvuras Meis Mitzvah is stronger than the Avoida, ain't a din, it should be stronger than Shabbos because the Avoida is stronger than Shabbos. So therefore, why would I think you killed the person on Shabbos? Have a Kal V'chaymer. Guys, good? Okay, so again, just what we just did. Again, here's exactly what we just did. Guy, I talked a lot. Let me tell you what we just did. We're going back to the original premise. Why do I need a leha by Yibum to tell me no? It must be you'd say yes. Our assumption until now has been you'll say yes because I'd say docha lo say. And that was the whole Gemara yesterday. I say docha what? The say of killing a person is docha lo say what of Shabbos, and therefore you need a savaru. No. The reason you'd say you killed the person is because of the Kal V'chaymer. The Kal V'chaymer that what? That avoid that Tzich is stronger than avoid, and avoid is stronger than Shabbos. Good. So right now, therefore, I need a savaru to tell me no, you don't touch the Kal V'chaymer. But what about Yibum? I still have the same question. Why do we need a leha? Why? I wouldn't think in a million years that what you can go in miyabin an erva. Why would you think of miyabin erva? There's no source to miyabin erva. It makes no sense. Guys, you good? Yankel, you're not good.
Avoid is Kippur is man, right? So I understand Kal V'chaymer, right? But Tzicha is not the killing the coin. You just not do the avoid this. It means lock him up. So it's not do Kippur is man.
Well, no, even if he's the only coin in the world and you won't do the avoid, you take him down.
Because he's as good as dead.
No, he's not dead. He's not a guy. He's not a guy. He's not a guy. Again. Here's the point. Will doichet avoid means? Will we stop the avoid for a Reitzach?
Yeah. No.
That yes. Even if it's the only coin in the world, yeah. So there's a Kal V'chaymer. There's a Kal V'chaymer. You doichet the whole. I did away the whole avoid. I did away the whole avoid because of Ritzicha. Okay, so guys, you're good. You have the mechanics of the Gemara with totally good. Geschmack aliman. Okay, now. So now, getting back to the barn, we're going to have to get back to Aleha someday, right? With all this Torah, all we did was we slugged up your right that you want to do. Says Gemara. Now, guys, only Gemara could do this. Now, listen to this. Outside. We're going to revisit the Havamina, even though we don't. We're revisiting yesterday's Gemara. What was yesterday's Gemara? You'd say the assay of killing the person is docha the los assay of Shabbos. Yeah. What was your Havamina? The Gemara's, what was your Havamina? The Gemara's going back to that. Says the Gemara. In other words, we're going to question the whole essence of assay docha los assay. Says the Gemara now. Umay the salka daitach mei kara, and that you thought initially, the asay v'docha los asay, that the mitzvah asay of killing the person is docha Shabbos. My ayenu karma. When it said, what was the other tzad to say not? Well, that was the dialogue yesterday. What's the other tzad to say not? Hachi kamar. Ma ani mekayim mechalom mos yumas. I'd say b'shar malachos chutz mi Mrs. Besdin. Aval Mrs. Besdin docha Shabbos. Why? The asay of killing the person, v'dochi los asay of Shabbos. Hada Amar, Aimadamin and say docha losase, losasu greda. That's a regular lav without chorus. Losase sheish by chorus, mishamet lay. There's a losase that's chorus. Did you ever say that the docha? So therefore, why would you need what? Losavaru? So Hada Amar, in other words, obviously you're going to end up that you need Losavaru, right? So Hada Amar, atu asay doiches losase lav losase chamamine. Guys, we began this whole share a few days ago. What's muchama? An asay or a los asay? A los asay. A los asay, right? Is muchama. And that's the chiddush asay docha los asay. We spoke at Friday, we spoke at Limudim, we spoke at the Ramban, we spoke at Rav Nissen Goyim, we spoke at Torah, but you had to come on to Torah, right? You had to come to alumnus to figure out why I say docha los asay. Good? So now, once it's doicha, why should it be a difference it's a lav? Why should it be a difference in the lav is chorus? It's chama, right? We're all masking it's chama. Once it's chama, Mali chama zuta, mali chama rabba. That's the Gemara's kasha. Says the Gemara. Now you're telling me, lav leisase chama mine, v'ka'asi asei v'dochale, mali chuma dezuta, that doesn't carry karis, or mali chuma rabba, that carries karis. It should work no matter what.
Why necessarily?
What?
This question could have been asked.
Again, this is Hesh. At the end of the day, we're going to throw it out the window. This is classic Rav Chodesh Shmaitzer. You know, this is the Gemara that you told Rabbi in Yeshiva. Well, can we just get to the bottom line? You go through. Remember, you go through hack this, that, this, and you get to and the end of the line is like, why don't we just learn the riff? You know, like in the back, like get to the bottom line. Yeah, anyway, so therefore, this is Leisavaru. So now, guys, you just did the Gemara. Good. Meaning, what do we do? We proved that yesterday's dialogue was dependent upon a Kal V'chomer. And then we just went ahead and went through yesterday's dialogue based on our assumption. Good. But right now, what about Yibum? 0. Right. Right now, where are we holding with Yibum? 0. Right. We don't know why you need a leha. Why would you think you need a leha to think that a Yevamot b'makam erva can go ahead and do the mitzvah? Look, Geshmak. I don't want to be tested on it, but it's Geshmak. Says the Gemara, Ella what? Ella itzrich. Ella, I need a leha, guys. Back to the original question. Guys, back to first base. Ella itzrich. You need a leha. Why do you need a leha? I would have thought. It's something that was in the rule. And then you take it out of the rule, right? It was something that's part of the rule. And it was taken out of the rule, the Tanya. You say this all the time by Rabbi Shmuel, guys, right? Guys, if you have a rule, a bunch of things mentioned, and then you take something out. Why are you taking it out? Not for itself, but to reflect back upon the rule. So here's the Havamina now. Here's the Havamina. We know there's a Pasha of Arayas in the Torah. Anyone who does this, you're going to get kares. Comes along what? We take Eishes out of the rule and says, guess what? The Eishes can go aheed and be Mekai in the midst of Yibum. So what would you have said? It's taken out of the rule, not to just say by itself. I would say it's taken out of the rule to go ahead and teach me about the rule. To teach me that just like Eishes b'makam Yibum is a go, so to any erva b'makam Yibum is a go. And therefore I need a leha to tell me no. Again, we got rid of the mechanism of what of? Guys, we got rid of that mechanism. We now have another mechanism to say, why you Yevamot? You would have a Havamina to go ahead. I mean, kind of even by an erva. You know what that is? Here's the Havamina. You have a rule, a bunch of Yud Ches, everyone, including Eshazach. She's also on Parshas. Guys, this is the statement after Parshas Achrei Mos. At the end of the Parsha, it says Kol Yashim Kol Tevas Eila Minech Masu. Good. So now, out of that rule, and Eshazach was there, you took it out, and tell me 1 second, this is in a Yibum. Why do you take it out? What's our rule? Kol HaYotzim Min HaKlal. Anything that's taken out of rule, it's not independent. Kol Yotza comes out to go reflect back on the cloud. So here's my cloud. All the parsha of every Yudches. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't marry this, don't this, this. Pops out Eishes Ach to teach me 1 second. This is all fine and dandy when it's not a Yibum situation. Once it's a Yibum situation, then you could. Eishes Ach. 1 second. Eishes Ach. Back all the ones also been Malkam Yibum you could. Yeah. Tamad Laima Aleha to tell me not. Tamad Laima Aleha, you tell me not. So now, right now, it's beautiful to we're going to slug it up, but isn't that right now you understand it? Okay, you could right now you understand it. Like, forget essay. Don't even 70th yes. Now you get back to it. Okay. That was gone this with the Kal V'chomer. We didn't have a source for that. Now the Gemara is going to bring a source for what? What? Good thing, no, maybe actually for Bechina tomorrow for the Siyam, you want to eat, you're going to have to answer a few questions. Okay. you're going to go hungry? It says, okay, anyway, says the Gemara. We have another rule over here. Guys, watch. Where do you know this from? The Tanya. we're going to go ahead and prove this idea of everything that's in a klal, taken out of the klal, is lamed al klal. Where do you see it from? Davar shoye bechlal v'yotzim min klal. Ketzad v'hanefesh shetoichel basam mibsevach hashlamim. And a person who eats from the meat of a shlamim, v'tumasay love, and he's tamei. Now, guys, anyone who eats kachim and he's tamei is mechuyev kares. Good. Now, 1 second. We have a rule. V'halei shlamim bechlal kachim hayu. What's the rule say, guys? Kol ish asher yikrav mikol zarachem ela kachim. Any person that comes from all your children to kachim, asher yakdishu b'nei Yisrael Hashem v'tumasu olav v'nichvas ha'nefeshim l'fanai. Guys, kol asher yikrav mikol zarachem ela kachim. Anything that's kodesh, and you're tameh, you're going to get kares. Now, what do we have a pasuk doing? Shlamim taking out of that rule. Shlamim was b'chlal kol hakachim, yeah? So as it was. Now it says, v'loma yatsu. Why do we take shlamim out of the rule of what? Kolash isha sheyakov mikol zarachem. Ella lahakish alayim, to make a hekish to shlamim. V'loim lecha, and make it tell us the rule. Ma shlamim yuchadim. Just like shlamim is unique, that kachim is be'ach, it's kachim is be'ach, af kol kachim is be'ach. So too, in order to get kares for tumah, it's only on something that's kedushas haguf, something that's intrinsically kodesh for the mizbeach. Yatsu kachay bedek habayis, it will be yatsu kachim that only has kedushas damim. Guys, I'll get 2 animals. Watch. One animal says, I'm going to bring us a carbon. The other one says, I'm giving it as a neder to the base hamikdash. Schlep with the animal, use it for something. One is kedushas haguf, one is kedushas bedek habayis. Kedushas damim. It's kodesh not for the animal, it's kodesh for the worth of the animal. If you would eat that when you're tameh, you would not get kares. Why? Because it's not a shlamim. Shlamim teaches us about the rule. Shlamim goes ahead and defines the rule. What's the definition of the rule? That rule of kol kachim that you're going to get tumah, that you eat tumah, is dafka similar to kachim. Just like kachim is be'ach, it has to be a carbon. So too, it has to be what? Kachim is be'ach. That rule that we said of the rule of kolish sheshayakim mikol zarachem. It has to be what? Kachim is be'ach. Kachim bedek is not. Kachim bedek is not. Hachanami. Okay, hachanami. Guys, application. Ha'eshes ach b'chal kol arayis ha'isa. Eshes ach was in the category of what? Kikola sheyasim mikol te'eves elu v'nichvasan afashtais. V'lama yatsa. Why did it come out of the rule? Lahakish elaho v'leim lecha ma eshes ach sharia av kol arayis nami sharia. So right now, guys, we know why you need a lecha. Right now, you need a lecha. I have a mechanism to matter the arayis. What's that mechanism? The fact that eshes ach was taken out of the rule. Okay, now outside. What? Mated. It's mutter. It's mutter. I would say that why it's mutter, kamash mlon, aleha, it's not. Okay, guys, outside. By the rule of shlamim, when you took it out, was it exactly the same din as the rule itself? Let's go. What was the rule itself? You can't eat basa when you're tameh. Shlamim, you can't eat a shlamim when you're tameh. Is it the exact same rule? Yeah. Exact same rule. Good. Let's go to Eshes Ach. What's the rule? What's the rule? You're going to get kares, right? Is that Issa or Heta? It's Issa. It's Asa. You get kares. What's the rule? Eshes Ach. Yevamot yava. It's what? It's a Heta. The yotzim in a klal is not similar to the klal. It's not similar to the klal at all. Look, you just made a comparison between shlamim to yibum. It's not comparable at all. By shlamim, it was oisei davar. It was the exact same thing. You gain nothing by taking the shlamim out. Ella must be to learn the din that tum is only noig by kachim isbeach. By yibum, guys, what do you mean you took it out of the rule? You were machadish a whole new halacha. The rule was what? It's asa to go ahead and be with an erva. So if you told me, took Eshes Ach out and told me it's asa to be with an erva, you'd have a good sushtel. You took Eshes Ach out and you told me what? It's mutter. This is not the rule. That's a whole new ball of wax. It's not comparable. Let's see it inside. Fredig Marakash, Mamsha Gavaldu Kasha. Me dummy. How can you compare what? Yibum to Shlamim. Hassam by Shlamim, Klal Issa, the Klal, the rule of Kol Asher Isha Sheyakrim Mikol Zarachem, Ela Kotchem Asher Yakiv, Meis Nolim Tumasei Love, Menichbaso. It's a rule of Issa. You eat it betuma, you're going to get kares. Ubeprat be'isser, and shlomim, if you eat betuma, you're going to get kares. Hacha, over here by Yibam, klal be'isser, kol sheyasim kol ta'evis eila, uprat be'hekta, and the prat was yama yavaleha. So you want to make a comparison, guys? Listen to this comparison. Halaydami ella ledava shahaya bechlal, something that was in the category, was in the ballpark. V'yatza lidam bedava hachadosh, and you took it out to learn something new. You can't even bring it back into the rule. Okay, guys, outside. There's another one of you give me this. If you're in the ballpark and you're taken out of the ballpark, and out of the ballpark you say something totally different than the rule, then you stay out of the ballpark until we get you back in. So what happened over here? We had the ballpark of Arroyas. You took out Yibum, right? You took out Yibum and say it's Mutta by Eshesach. You took out Eshesach and said it's Mutta. Good. Guess what? It stays out. If it stays out, it can't possibly teach me about the others. And I don't need a law. The law is only coming because the others can be Mutta. When do you say this teaches me about the others when they're comparable? Issa Issa. Over here, it's Issa Heta. So what is the, you know what? This remains outside the ballpark and until you bring it back in. And we're going to bring an example of that in a second. Guys, we're going to bring an example of that in a second. Guys, you got it? Mm-hmm. So therefore, you have no source that you need a law for. The whole source is what, just like Yibum, Eshesach is Mutta. I'd say all our rice is Mutta because it's coming to reflect back. Kamash Milan Aleha. No. It's not reflecting back. Adarabba. It stays out completely. It stays out completely. And until the Torah puts it back in. What's an example? This is the following. Okay. A little information required. The process of Mitzoira. Mitzoira, again, we've done this a few times, but I'll repeat it forever because it's always good to know. Mitzoira, the Kohen has to say he's outside the machne, he's outside 3 machnes. Mitzoira is outside 3 machnes. We have to then have the Kohen pronounce that he's tahar. He pronounced that he's tahar. He goes ahead, he takes a body shape, he gets 2 birds, shechs one of them, another one with a high sop, puts the blot bun on him, takes the total body shave, goes to the mikvah, waits 7 days, body shave again, goes to the mikvah, and day 8, he brings 3 korbanos. He brings an oila, a chatas, and an asham. The oila and the asham are from sheep, and the again, if he can afford it, and the chatas is from a female sheep. Okay. On the asham, what he's going to do is he's going to stick his fingers in, and he's going to go ahead. The Kohen's going to put on his right hand, his right foot, his right in his ear. He's going to put blood on his right ear, right thumb, and right foot, and Shemin also can do that. Okay. So now, this is an asham. The halacha of an asham is the following: it requires shchita b'tzafin. He has to shecht in the north of the Azara. It requires zrika, and requires burning the emurim. It requires those things. Okay, so now says the Gemara the following: Haloi dami. This case of Yevamot coming out of the rule is not comparable. Something that was in the ballpark. And you took it out for something else. You're not able to bring it back into the ballpark till the Torah puts it back in. The Tanya, here it is. It says, this guy's mitzvah. This is the asham. You shech the asham. In the place where you shech the chatas, right? Why? Because the chatas is like an asham. Those are very funny words, right? Now, you don't have to tell me chatas asham. Now, we know already shchita is b'tzafon, guys. We know shchita is b'tzafon, right? We know that because it already said the shachar you should shech the keves in the same place you shech the chatas, and it also says that you need matim damim. You have to go ahead and put blood. Now it says v'shachar as a keves makom sheyisha as a chatas v'es oilov the makom hakodesh ki chatas asham hu l'koyin shein tam lam ki chatas asham umat tam lam ki chatas asham. Since you take it out of the rule, how is Asham Mitzvah taken out of the rule? You have to put blood on his big toe and hand. Good. So therefore, I might think Yachalo Yehei Toyin Matan Damin Veimurim. I might think it doesn't need Matan Dam Veimur. Shchita in Safan I know, but I might think it's out of the ballpark, just like it's out of the ballpark a lot with the ear, with the thumb and the toe. I would think it's out of the ballpark that you don't have to put dam and you don't have to put imurim because it doesn't say that openly. The Gabi Mizbeach on the base. Therefore, Talmud Loima puts it back in. Kikachatas Osham hu machatas tu and matan domim veimurim l'Gabi Mizbeach af Osham toyim matan domim l'Gabi Mizbeach. Now, the Eloya Hajrei Kra, and if not for the Torah saying Kechatas Asham, Hava Amina, I would say, Lamai din Nafik Nafik, that you took it out of the ballpark, guys. My din Nafik, you took it out of the ballpark, Le'inyan the Behindness, it's out of the ballpark, right? Umay Deloy Nafik, that you didn't, you took it out of the ballpark. You only have the din that it says, which is Matam Behindness and Shchitas Damim. But regarding putting the blood on the Mizbeach and Imurim, I wouldn't know. Well, in other words, it's not taken out. It's not taken out by about shchita b'tzafim, but it is taken out by the ears, right, and the toe, and you wouldn't know what matan domim and imurim. So therefore, until it puts it back in. So achanami havamina eishes ach the ishtri sharoyes loy. I would say eishes ach is mutter, but the other one's not. Okay, outside. Here's what we did. Here's what we did. We found a mechanism we thought to mata Yevamot. What was the mechanism? Something that was in the rule. In this case, the rule of Yevamot. It was taken out of the rule. Why was it taken out of the rule? Not for itself, but to teach us about everything. So just like Eishes Ach is permitted by Yibum, so I'd say every Erev is permitted by Yibum. Good? And then I need a Leha. We destroyed that. We destroyed that because the Yotzim in Aklal is not similar. Good? What is it similar to? Again, this has nothing to do with the kasha. It's just we just don't get lost, guys. In other words, all we're going to now just tell you what it's comparable to, but we're going to need we don't know why you need a leha yet. In other words, at the end of the day, right now, we don't know why you need a leha. What's it comparable to? So now, let me just explain to you what it's comparable to. It's comparable to the case of the Asha Mitzayra. The Asha Mitzayra is B'chal ol Hashamais, and it's taken out of the rule. Now, the rule only explained why. It's taken out. The rule said, Yishechtet, B'chatas Yishechtet in the north. I know it's Shchitas B'tzafan. Now, you're taking it out for Bahonos. So I would say just as like out of the rule of Bahonos by a regular Asham, so too it's out of the rule of Matan Damim, sprinkling the blood and burning the Emur, and the part that goes to Hashem, until the Torah puts it back. The Torah then goes ahead and puts it back. It says Kechatas Asham. Now it's the same way. So we know it has the same halachas. So that's what it's comparable to. So very good shmak. Let's ferois. Okay, it's comparable to Asham, right? So we have Yibum. We have Yibum. And we have the Parsha of Arroyos. We have Yibum coming out. You know what we don't have? We don't have it going back in. You don't have Kechatas v'Asham. You don't have it going back in. So if you don't have it going back in, you don't need a leha. No, because there's no svara to say it's mutter. So right now we're holding, what's the reason in the world you would need a leha? We have no reason in the world to need a leha. Guys, this is classic cheshbon. This is classic Gemara cheshbon. But again, in classic Gemara cheshbon, if you ever get lost, I'll take you right back. Right now, all you have to know is we need, if you didn't pick up anything in share, right now we're back to first base. How do you have, we failed with Asay Dochalos Asay. We failed with Dava Yotzim in Aklal. Now we're going to try a third way to create a heta for Yibum all arayos that I need a letter to tell me no. Guys, you good? Let's go. Says the Gemara. Ella, here we go. Salkadai Chamina. I would have thought this is the heta that you need a leha. Salkadai Chamina. Teisei b'memetzinu. The easiest, the funniest thing, the easiest thing is memetzinu. Just like you find halacha like this, you find halacha like this. Ella teisei memetzinu make eshes ach. Ma eshes ach miyabma. Just like eshes ach is yibum, af achos ishet is yabim. So too eshes ach is miyabim. In other words, the easiest thing in the world. This is an ever, that's an ever. This is mutter, that's mutter. Nobody likes it, right? Very easy. Says the Gemara, dummy. How can you compare the two? How can you compare, guys, eshes ach to achas isha, right? Hasam chari surah. Over there's only one iser. Hacha trei surah. Fellas, if two brothers marry two separate women, and one brother dies, the only erva that's falling in front of him is his brother's wife. If two brothers marry two sisters, and then when brother dies, there's two isurim on the Yevamot. One, she's Eishes Ach, which we can deal with, but she's also Achas Isha. She's also the wife of the sister of your wife. So how can you compare the two? It's not comparable at all. So good Yevamot is Docha. You know why it's Docha? It's only one Isser. But why should be Docha Eishes Ach? Why should be Docha Eishes Ach? That's two Isurim. One, it's your brother's wife, and two, it's your sister. It's your wife's sister. So therefore, it doesn't work. So therefore, back to the original question: why do I need a law for? So Ma'od Tema, I would say the following: Hayil v'ishteri ishteri. Once it's mutter. So too, who cares how many surim they are? Yevamot Yavai Alecha. The Torah takes off an erva. No sweat. I can take off one erva. I can take off another erva, right? I took off the Isser of Eishes Ach. I'll take off the Isser of Eishes Ach and Achas Isha. I'll do both. Now, we're gonna end the shir in a second. It'll be longer in a second. We're gonna leave this off. We're gonna leave off with this is the source of Hoyel Ishteri. That what? Since it mattered one erva, it came out a lot of errors. Now, all we want to do now, the Gemara is show there's such a concept what of Hoyel Ishteri. Okay, that's the mechanics. We want to show Hoyel Ishteri. We just want to go ahead what and we want to go ahead and matter it. Okay, we want to go ahead and matter it. Okay, now a lot of information, guys. You know part of it. There's three machanos. There's three machanos. There's machna Shechina, machna Levia, and machna Yisrael. Okay, those three. In the midbar, it was clear. The Migdash, the Levia was around the Migdash, and the rest of machna Yisrael. In the base of Migdash, I have a chart. I posted in the base of Migdash. Let's get this up. Yeah, it's on your phone. Look at that, guys. Is that good, huh? Okay. This is a cut view. This is a cut view. You're fooling out with it. You have it over here. Here we have a cut view, guys. On the picture, you have a big picture here. Okay. This is, you see on the left, all it starts from the left. You have the ulam, and then you have the kacheh kedashim. So this area with the mizbeach, from this, guys, this ches is Shai Niknar, right here is Shai Niknar. You see Shai Niknar? From here in is Machna Shechina. From Shai Niknar and in. From here, Shai Niknar is that ches over there. You see a ches line over there? That's Shai Niknar. Any place in there, this is Machna Shechina. Over here, from here out until the Harabayas, that's Machna Levia. Yerushalayim proper up to the walls of Yerushalayim is Machna Yisrael. Okay, those are the three areas. Now, there are different, depending on severity of the tumah. There's a mitzvah b'shalch min hamachna. You chase people out of Machna. They have to be sent out of Machna. The most severe tumah is tzaras. He's sent out of all three. He'd be sent out of Yerushalayim. Any walled city has a din of Machna Yisrael. He'd be sent out of all three. A balkeri. Anyone that has a tumah that's azov, tumah yotzim migufay, will be sent out of Machna Shechina and Levia. Tamei Mace and Sheretz would be allowed in Machna Levia. Guys, where's the raya? Moshe Rabbeinu, we had Samas, the good sharp. Moshe Rabbeinu had Atzmas Yosef with him, right? Good. Now, we have different people. We know a person's tamei completely, a person's a full yom who goes to the mikvah, and a person's mechusik kippurim. He went to the mikvah, he had hair of shemesh, and he's waiting to bring his carbon. Asham, guys, a mitzayra is a classic what? A mitzayra is a classic mechusik kippurim. He's missing Midas kapara. Now, a person who's mechusik kippurim and is allowed on the Machna Levia, he's not allowed into Machna Shechina. He's not allowed in Machna Shechina. So you got a problem over here. He's mitzayra. He's got to stick his hands into Shai Niknar. Bia b'miktsas, a partial coming in, is shma bia. How in the world is he allowed in if he's Tommy Mechusik Kippurim? He's chayv karis for going into Machna Shechina by sticking his hand in. In other words, on the chart, he's sticking his hand in it. How's he allowed in? He's chayv karis. And the answer is that the Torah mated it. The Torah mated it. Okay. A tful yoim, l'chayv is not. There's no heter for tful yoim. So let's the following scenario. He's a mitzayra. He's going to bring his kabbanis, so he's mechusar kippurim. He went to the mikveh and everything. He sees Kerry. He sees Kerry. So now he is what? He's at full yoin. But he's got to bring his korban pesach at night. You got a problem. On a regular case, we wait till day 9. Let him go to the mikveh day 9. He's not at full yom anymore. He's mechusar kippurim and everything for Fallon. But he waits till day 9. He's going to not bring his korban pesach. If you don't bring your korban pesach, you chayav koris. So there's 2 chorises over here. There's the chorus of what of not bringing your pesach, mitzvah say pesach, and the chorus what of being shach min hamachne. Okay, what are we going to taina? We're going to taina since we have the heta of Mitzayra to stick his hands in Ishtari. That's going to matter the carry as well. That's going to take care of the full yom part. And that's how you know, even the Ishtari. That's how you know, since it's mutta. So Menela, so I have one Eshesach, or I have 2 Achas Isha, just like over here, we took care of that of Mitzayra and Kerry, that'll take care of 2. And we're going to have a tremendous amount of questions tomorrow in a very difficult daf. If you thought today was difficult, wait till tomorrow. Anyway, so
We won't be hungry.
yeah, but we won't be hungry. Okay. What?
In other words, on its own, how is the fact that he becomes a cherry?
Let's just do it. Says the Gemara. Says the Gemara. Now, so uminat teimra darminan. How do you know the hoil we say ishtari? How do you know there's such a concept? Once you're giving a waiver, you give a complete waiver. The Tanya, mitzayra shechal shmini shaloi, mitzayra that falls shmini shaloi berev Pesach. So that won't be a problem normally, guys. That won't be a problem normally. What would he do? Bring it erev Pesach, no problem. In other words, you can send the shliach to bring a korban Pesach. You go ahead and take care of your mechusar kippurim part. No problem. However, what happens now? V'ra Kerry. He goes ahead, guys, and he what? And he sees Kerry. Now it becomes at full yoim. He goes to the mikveh. He's at full yoim. V'ra Kerry baba yoim. V'taval. Now he's at full yoim, and he's not allowed up there. Amru chachamim afal pi shein full yoim acher nichnas. Even though one cannot enter the machna levia and certainly machna shchina, ze nichnas. This Balkari Mitzayra can go. Why? Mutav sheyavai essay sheyesh bakaris. Let alone the essay of bringing korban Pesach, which is karis, come along the yitcha essay and bidocha the essay she'ain by karis. The essay of bishalchim in a machne, guys, right? It's only us to be in machne levia is a mitzvah shluach min a machne. It's not din a karis. We sent out of the machne. It's not machne shchina. It's machne levia. So in other words, let this stronger assay of bringing the korban Pesach be doicha the full yom part. But guys, it's a more stronger question because the mitzvah is going to. Is it full yoim? Is going to enter a chorus situation. What's the situation? When he sticks his hands into machne shchina. Levi is not a chorus problem. It's just a mitzvah of shulach min machne. But what happens when he gets into the area of what of the shchina? For Amar Rabbi Yochanan, the Torah really Rabbi. Let's be honest. Rabbi, the Torah afilu essay lespe. Even there's no essay. Midaraisa, there's no essay for the full yom to be in machne levia. Shnemar, Vayamu Yoshafet Bekal Yehuda, Afnei Chatzar Chadasha, my Chatzar Chadasha, Amar Rabbi, first one Rabbi Yochanan, Amar Rabbi, Shechichu B'Devarim V'on with full yom, Lo Yikonis L'Machne Levia. Full yom should go to Machne Levia. Now, V'Amar Ula, Matam, so what's the reason we let him in Machne Levia? Because we got a bigger problem, guys. How do we let him go into Machne Shechina? Hoyel V'Hutel Tzarathoi. Since his mutter is tzaras, meaning he matted the bia b'migdash to stick his fingers in, even though what it's going to be considered that he's a chi of karis, the Torah matted it. So hutul l'karyav, he's mutter l'karyav. So right now, but we're going to stop and let's take count of what we're holding. We found the mechanism, guys. We found the mechanism that we need a leha for. We failed with asay dochalos asay. We failed with what? With Dvarim Yotzim and Aklal. We got a Memetzinu. What's the Memetzinu? Just like Eishes Ach is an erva, and Yibam pushes it off, so too Achas Isha, which is an erva, the Torah pushes it off, and therefore I need a leha to tell me no. Says the Gemara, why do I still need a leha? I got a big question. How can you compare Eishes Ach to Achas Isha? How can you compare a sister-in-law to your sister's wife? By your regular sister-in-law, you only have one Issa, the Issa of Eishesach. By your wife's sister, you got 2, Eishesach and your wife's sister. So I'll tell you how. Hoil of ishtri. Once we gave a heta, we gave a heta. Where do you see once you gave a heta, you gave a heta? We see it from a mitzvah full yom, that even though the full yom should not be permitted, it's permitted for what? For mitzvah. It's permitted for full yom. Therefore, I would say, therefore what? Mated all yibam erva should be mutter because hoil of ishtri of the Yevamot yava eleha eishas ach. Since we mated eishas ach, she mated whatever other erva there is. Therefore, we have Allah to tell me no. Okay, tomorrow night, okay, guys, listen. We have tomorrow night. We have a siyum. Guys who are on the Zoom, are you coming, David? You coming to the siyum? You be able to make it?
I don't know.
You're in. Hey, May, you're in.
You can watch a scene on the Zoom.
I'll find out, I'm sure.
May Usher's in. David, you in?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, fine. If you show up, we'll have food for you. Okay. Anyway, fine. So one from here. Okay, 7:30. 7:30.